Okay, so welcome everyone. I assume it's evening for you guys, but good morning and good afternoon in case you're in other parts of the world like I am. I'm in California, so it's only 9 a.m. for me now. So forgive me if I'm not 100% warm up and I say something silly. It's because it's early in the morning right here. So welcome. While I'm presenting Echoes and then heading to Hoda, please let us know where you're at, what kind of design you do, or if you're a design enthusiast, let us know why you are studying design or interested in design. We are here because of Echoes. Echoes is an independent global innovation lab driven by design. We have three business models. The School of Design Thinking, that it's actually who is hosting this event today because of the Design Leadership Program. We'll be talking more about that. We have Echoes Innovation Projects and Echoes Ventures. So through Echoes Innovation Projects, we help business create value and innovation for good. We're also helping people and organizations master innovations mindsets, skills, and tools. We're global, based also mainly in Brazil, Australia, Europe, and now I am in the US. We already graduated over 40,000 professionals in our present courses back in the day before 2019 or before 2020, and since then over 70,000 leaders and designers throughout the world ever since. We helped over 150 projects so far between Brazil and Asia. We are part of the Global Design Thinking Alliance. We are the only innovation lab part of this group, so it's such an honor to be participating in this and doing research and design. And this is design leadership, the reason why we're here now, and all this beautiful interactions and conversations that have been happening since the end of last year. I would say even before that, because we really started in the beginning of last year, to be quite honest. But we have the season 2, it started May 9th. It's our only global program. It's a 12-week program divided in 24 moments between master classes. We have Birgit here, that it's actually was our masterclass speaker and will be our masterclass speaker. It's such an honor to have you here. We have 12 regional live practice, which is our workshop. And I don't want to really get extended in here because if you have any questions, we can see it one-on-one and I can go in depth about the program. This is the program journey. So basically we break down the course in 4 main areas. So you, because you need to understand what are your uniqueness, your skills. And it's a lot about between you and other people, how you correlate, how you listen to other people. It's also about your outcome. So it's about you and the products and services that you are designing, but it's also about you and the environment, you and systems. So throughout the journey, we'll be touching all those 4 points, breaking down in different themes. Again, the course starts on May 9th. We have an interval for this specific course because it will be for the north part of the globe during the summer vacation. So it ends August 3rd. And let's start. Hoda, now the stage is yours. Please, you guys, you can introduce yourself, or maybe let me just introduce myself so I'm out of the way so everything is all for you. I'm the program manager.
Anytime.
I'm the program manager for the Echoes Design Leadership Program. I'm mainly the person who will be talking to you in case you have any doubts. I am also the main point of contact for the speakers, meaning the facilitators or the masterclass speakers. So if there's anything you need to know more, please feel free to contact me, email or LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure some of my contact information will be shown by the end of the presentation. So again, Turkey, thank you. So Turkey, how do you say your name?
Yeah, you just said it right. So it's Turkey, yes.
Turkey.
It's the easiest way to pronounce it, yes.
Yes. I mean, for me, Brazilian, it kind of makes sense to say Turkey, but maybe for other people, they might say it differently. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. So please let us hear everything you guys have to say.
Yeah, it's really a pleasure being here. Hoda, thank you, Luna, so much.
Thank you, Luna, and welcome everyone to our first regional EMEA Fire Session. And we're really happy to be here together as part of a community of learners. And part of why we want to be here together is something that Turki and I have been talking about. We've only recently met, but in this very short time, we found so many common passions and common desires, aspirations, dreams for the region. And we aligned on so many things that we want to share them with you and build a community within the Middle East, North Africa, and beyond, and share what we can contribute to this global community, because we have a lot to share. And I think Turki is here to start that story, to share that story, and to start the beginning of a journey we hope is going to extend here and beyond with all of you and with ECHOS and with, through education. I'm Hoda Mustafa. I'm the director of a Center for Learning and Teaching, where I spearhead design thinking activities through academic integration. So starting through learning and exposing students to design thinking, but also spreading a passion for learning about design thinking and design leadership. Recently learning about design leadership. I attended season 1, and I'm now a design leadership ambassador with ECHOS, and handing it over to Turki for introductions, and then we'll start with some very interesting questions. Turki.
Thank you, Huda. Thank you, Luna, and everyone. It's really a pleasure to be here and also to showcase the MENA, I would say, region design and innovation activities. Again, my name is Turki Fagira. I'm the managing partner and co-founder of strategic design and innovation studio based here in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, called TAMX. I've been in the field of innovation design for the past 15 years, trying to spread the knowledge of innovation, creating innovators, building capacity when it comes to the government and the private sector. And there is so much and so many stories to tell today. So thank you so much for having me here.
So we're going to start our story today. And I was introduced to Turki by a dear friend, Henedi, who told me Turki is a great storyteller. So we're here, hopefully, to not only inform and educate and also entertain, I hope. So we're going to start with a question. And when the word design, and this is something that I experienced when you talk about design in our region, what does it mean to you? And what do you think it means to others?
Yeah. So basically, I would start with myself. Design for me is problem solving. Coming back from an IT and a technical background, graduating from school, I was eager to innovate. I was eager to introduce new products to the market. And it was all about aesthetics, right? And it's all about physical products and so on. And when I was introduced to the word design, it opened up a whole new world for me. Being a designer means being a problem solver, being somebody who is a dreamer, who can fix things, and who can improve quality of life. And it's not just limited to the physical things and the aesthetic things. And maybe in the region, and I think it's something that many other places share too, is that design is only linked to physical, aesthetic design, creative design, art, and there's always that misconception between design and art. Design is more holistic, and design is more about the, I would say, emotions, experiences, and this is where actually my life was changed, learning that design can become a tool to improve services, to improve experiences, to improve public policy, to improve those intangible things that touches 99.9% of our lives. So yeah, I think there is this misconception that design is only about physical things, is about aesthetics. And it's our responsibility as service designers, as policy designers, as people who are in the field to change that mindset and make people see the bigger picture.
I mean, I personally, we agree on that, and in our conversations, we agree on that, and also as educators, I think, I don't know, maybe there are some students here in the audience, and perhaps even some educators. I think I saw someone in the chat say that they're a professor or lecturer, but this, like you said, misconception. So how do you think? And this is a follow up. When there is a misconception about what design means, how do you think as designers we can correct this misconception?
Education. So I always say that education is the best marketing tool, is the best way to change behaviors, to change beliefs. I was privileged to train over 10,000 people in the region on design thinking, service design, and I witnessed how such conception changes and beliefs changes when you show people that you actually can become a designer. If you are a doctor, if you are a physician, if you are an engineer, if you are whatever, I've seen people from all different disciplines embrace the design thinking mindset, beliefs, and values, and getting that creative confidence to go ahead and solve problems in their entire ecosystems and entire environments. And there is so much to do there. We need to invest a lot as practitioners in educating, in spreading the word, and teaching design and design principles. Definitely to the multidisciplinary, I would say, backgrounds of people who are attending. One of the favorite quotes I got was from someone who is actually leading a company for 37 years. And after getting that program, he told me, this is the first time I see why I'm here. I know what is the goal of my life. I can really go and innovate and create impact. And that's, I think, something we need to tap into.
Thank you. I'm going to ask another question here and move on to the second, the point that we wanted to discuss. And that's around the landscape. So everywhere in the world is kind of different. It can be, cultural, and we'll tap into that maybe a little bit later. But from your kind of lens, from your stance, from your vantage point, having been working in the region for 15 years, and I know you've worked in several places, not just in one place, how has the landscape or the design landscape specifically been evolving in the region? And I know there are a lot of young people in the audience just by looking at the pictures. How's it been changing?
I think we are, I have the privilege, I think, to work in over 20 cities all over the world, and traveling a lot before settling down in Saudi. We are living in an unusual time. The Middle East is transforming in a rapid speed. Saudi, UAE, Egypt, those are the leading, I would say, countries in the Middle East that is transforming in a very rapid speed. We have majority of the population are young people who are well educated. We have a young leadership. We have been in Saudi in particular within the past 5 years, transforming in all aspects when it comes to culture, education, economic, and so many aspects with the Vision 2030 program. I've seen the before, the during, and hopefully we're gonna last and see what's gonna happen after. Design is in the core of everything that is moving today. It's in the core of the transformation. It's being mandated, it's being used in a larger scale than it used before. I would tell a story. So I told you, I think, before, Huda. In 2013, I was headhunting and going to all design studios in Europe and the United States and the Silicon Valley and so on, trying to bring them to Saudi. And there was that misunderstanding that there is no future in the region. In 2016, Vision 2030 started. We opened up to the world. We have become one of the leading countries when it comes to digital transformation, government services, And service design has been in the core of all of that. We established innovation centers. We use design in policy making. We use design in creation of new services, products, and I would say leapfrogging that comparing to other worlds. So we are the number one when it comes to government service providers. We are the number one when it comes to digital transformation. I think we have leapfrogged and we use the latest technologies and brought the best infrastructures. We have this amazing young people who are eager to change, eager to transform, eager to innovate, and to create impact, being around those people on a daily basis. So yeah, I think we have much mature infrastructure today to embrace design. We have been adopting digital design, product design, innovation management, policy design, and we are, I think, at a crossroad today. So we are proving ourselves to become leaders when it comes to service and experience innovation. In the region, we opened up, so we are focusing on tourism, entertainment, and all experience-based economics, and that requires bringing more designers to the market. We are seeing so many startup studios, design studios, innovation labs starting in the region. Yesterday in Dubai was the opening of the Future Museum, one of a kind museum that is about foresight, is about speculative design, is about predicting the future. So I think we are there. Maturity is there. We have done and we have built the foundation to become leaders when it comes to the design industry.
I think you said a lot of, if I were in a class and I was asking my students to, what were the keywords that you heard there, those words, it's like diverse, leapfrogging, opportunity, exciting, mature. So when you're describing that landscape, it seems like, if you're looking at that landscape, it seems that for anyone looking at the region, that's just an opportunity waiting to happen. But at the same time, when you say mature, there must be gaps as well. And I think we have the ingredients to fill those gaps. And this is where I know we both agree on the huge potential in the region to fill those gaps. So maybe you could, and I think this brings us to the next question of, what's unique? I think this is our next question. What's unique about the culture of the region that identifies us in that design space and that can take us to the future? Because when you look at a design in context, or the design leadership in context, it's very different. And if we are human-centered, we are the best people to solve our problems. So we've talked about this, and I'd like to share your perspective on this with the audience, and because I love the way you framed it.
Yeah. I think we are unique in so many ways. Our culture is open, diverse, as you mentioned, and young. So there is, I would say, I will take the negatives and transfer it into something positive. We are impatient. We want things to change like that. So I always hear the word, we want it yesterday. And that, I think, something that has helped us to transform in a rapid speed over the past few years. I've seen this transformation in so many industries. I've worked in so many industries, from oil and gas to education, from nonprofit to culture and arts and entertainment and so on. Our region is young. I think that is one of the most advantages, and that means people want to do things fast. Let's take that, let's build on it, let's build and take that energy, that enthusiasm, that belief, that eagerness to create impact, which I see it with so many of the people who are attending today. I've actually had the privilege to meet. We want to change. We want to create impact. We think beyond ourselves. We have that notion of thinking about the community, thinking about the nation, thinking about the, we have 21 countries, I think, in the Middle East, and we are all almost the same belief system, share the same culture that is all about creating impact and thinking beyond ourselves. So what is unique? We have young leadership, we have young people, we have passion. I think we share that with Luna and Portuguese and Spanish people. So we have that, I think, we express ourselves and we are on all over the social media. We are very well spoken, I think, and well educated. That comes with a unique set of skills that we need to build in the design leadership. We need to embrace that. We need to not be so academic and not to stick with the, I would say, the frameworks and the problem solving and the design frameworks that we got from the, I would say, the Silicon Valley or the different type of the wars. We are the only people who can solve our own problems. We need to take the best practices. We need to reshape them. We need to build our own design methodologies that goes with the culture, that goes with the diversity, that goes with the uniqueness of the region, and embrace that and take it to the next step.
I also want to highlight this ethos of, our region is often stereotyped as being ridden with problems. But these problems are actually opportunities to have a demographic like our region, 65% of your population being under the age of 30 or 50% of your population being under the age of 21. This is actually an advantage. If you educate them, if you upskill them, if you provide opportunities, search for opportunities that take you in the direction you want to go if you design your future. And that's why design is so powerful, and why design leadership, why I buy into design leadership, is how you can design your future. So if we move on to the next question, and that takes us to maybe switching gears a little bit. When you take the, I'll say the value proposition, or you take the idea of design and you want to articulate it. And we've had this actual conversation in another fire session, and Birgit was actually at this fire session. Do we use the word design? Do we not use the word design? But how do you articulate the value of design to others?
That's a very tricky thing, I guess. So I would compare 5 years ago from today. So in every business meeting, I had to give like a mini training course trying to explain what is the word design is. But today I can see there is so much understanding and belief in that. And thankfully we have this coming top down. So it's a mandate today to all organizations to embrace design thinking, to build innovation capabilities, to start using design by all means in all, I would say, aspects if we need to transform. So I think there was a good investment in the past few years when it comes to promoting design, especially design thinking, service design. Brigitte and the team in the Service Design Network are doing a great job, but we need to do more. There's this debate, should we use the word design or innovation? So innovation is much more about the end results and the process, and it's mainly used today in Saudi and the Middle East, more than the word design. Design is still linked to architecture, is still linked to art, is still linked to aesthetics, something that I myself trying to advocate for and try to change that perspective. A big challenge that we don't have formal design innovation education in the region. And we need to invest more in that. So school today started working on digital design, but we still don't have formal service design education, for example. We don't have innovation management. We don't teach those words in schools. So most of those are self-taught people who have been working, attending programs, working with other projects, I would say, in the real world. So should we use the word design? I think we should, but let's be careful with that. We need to invest more to show that it's more about the intangibles. It's more about the problem solving. It's more about creating impact. It's not just about the physical products or aesthetics. So how can we do this? Again, we need to speak up more. We need to do more alliances. We need to bring, I think, design into school, into graduate and postgraduate, and maybe you who are already leading this in Egypt. So how can we do more of this? But I can really see that there is so much awareness. Let me tell you what's happening also here in Saudi. So every week you're gonna hear a hackathon, a design jam, an innovation event happening. So many people from all over the regions are coming together trying to solve problems. So we are spreading the value of innovation and design. We are trying to change mindset. We are trying to empower people with the right tools. But in reality, it's not as easy as it sounds when it go inside that jam or inside that event. We need to share more practical knowledge. Problem solving and design is really complicated. I've been working in policy design, for example, introducing design thinking, design sprints into the public policy design. It's a very complicated environment where system thinking, future thinking, politics, exactly, and problem framing, trying to change the mindset and trying to empower people with the right tools will enable them to see the value of design. So I think we need to show evidence that design is beyond aesthetics, that design is about the intangibles, show and tell more stories. Something that we don't do very well, unfortunately, is not we don't tell so many stories. We need to show the world that we are innovating. We need to write more books. We need to do more, I would say, global storytelling initiatives to show that we are innovating and to build internal use cases, I would say.
Yep, and I'm on board. Take me along for the ride. I'm ready to go.
Something that I see honestly is leadership speaks design. We need to invest more with the middle management. We need to more with the young people, and we have 500,000 people entering the market every year in Saudi. So we have more than 500 million people in the education system. My dream, my goal is to have them all graduate understanding the value of design someday, inshallah.
Someday, inshallah. I'm thinking now of another, when you're speaking of this idea of the tipping point. What is that tipping point? When you have enough people in the space where it becomes, enough people understand. And I think that when you mentioned, we don't have these kinds of innovative programs. So maybe we need to get enough people in a room to come up with, all right, so we need enough institutes of higher education. We need maybe some vocational colleges with in innovation design, and what kinds of degrees do we need that are non-conventional degrees, that the only degrees are not just architectural design, because then you break the stereotypes. So that's something we could also, these are just thought experiments, but it's what you're saying makes perfect sense. All right,
how can we democratize, I would say, design education?
Democratize,
how can we make it affordable, not limited to a certain category? Anyone can become a designer. Everyone can become a problem solver. How can we spread that and make it the mainstream?
Yeah. Oh, there are so many ideas in my head right now, but we're going to move on to the next question. We have a few more questions we want to ask you. Birgit has put a link in the chat if you want to take a look at that. But this is something that's more on the, thank you, Luna, for sharing that, rethinking design education. So that's perfect. So you're reading our minds. Maybe we should join that. Is that a consortium, Bridget? Or is that a think tank? Is that a group? Is that a website? Share with us very quickly.
It's an initiative from IBM and Don Norman and other, let's say, design thinkers who have brought together a huge group of people to discuss the future of design education. And on that website, you can kind of like follow the conversation. And yeah, I think it's important that we talk about it. And I love the Middle East to join in that conversation. We hear far too little from you on a global scale, which is our fault, I guess.
Thank you for sharing that in this group, and Turki and I will jump on that conversation right away. We were just talking about education. That was going to be our next conversation. So thank you for sharing that. And Luna, thank you. All right, so this is another question that we'll move very quickly through the next 2 or 3 questions so that we have 15, maybe 10 minutes at the end, Luna. Maybe we can run through these very quickly for questions, and then you want to have 5 minutes at the end. There is this moving to more of the end user. You talked a little bit about driving demand and how we also have to educate not only designers and the driving demand. How can you maybe share some ideas on that perspective as well?
I think demand is already there. As I mentioned, we are transforming. We are spending a lot of time and effort and money into design today. So we're building new cities like Neom, for example. It's a completely innovative city built on green and innovative technologies and so on. We are leading the, I would say, the tourism sector. We have a very unique aspect there. So we are working already as a country, as an economy, as a region to transform. And we can see that in all aspects. So the demand is there. How can we link that demand into design services, into, I would say, make design-led innovation the keyword? So we can easily hear today digital transformation. We can easily hear, I would say, the word technology innovation. We don't hear service design. We don't hear, I would say, experience innovation, even though that it should be embedded in the wording. It should be embedded in the, I would say, in the efforts that's happening today. So there is demand, and this is what I'm doing. I have my own company and design studio. So I can see there is demand. We're making good projects and making impact, but still it's not enough. We are today investing a lot as entrepreneurs in the innovation industry to build this strong capacity when it comes to innovation consultants, designers, and innovators in the region. Still, it's not enough to match the demand. So I think the problem is not demand now, it's the supply of empowered designers, empowered, I would say, practitioners who speak the language of the region, who can solve the region's problems. Having that, I think, in the time that we are in today is very crucial. So the number of design studios, for example, in Saudi is very limited. We are just a few. Big corporates, big consulting companies have already acquired design studios all over the world, and they're coming to the region. They're starting their offices here. So if there was no demand, those people wouldn't invest in establishing a presence here in the region. So how can we make it sustainable? How can we provide a better supply of designers? I think that will be the biggest challenge we're going to face in the upcoming years.
Yeah, I was just writing in the chat, as a future career, for those of you who are thinking of
Yeah.
career opportunities, investing in yourself,
Exactly.
in upskilling. The potential is there, and we really struggle. And once you're there,
Something
and
I like to do, Huda, is a trick that I do in LinkedIn, for example. So I Google, I would say the jobs and the that has designers, service design, innovation in them. 5, 6 years ago, people were just 5 or 6 people who had an innovation or design in their title. Today, there is a mainstream happening. So much jobs are being offered on daily basis on LinkedIn. UX designers, service designers,
yes,
innovation managers.
huge
You
demand.
see those words. Yes, there is this demand. Yes.
Yeah, it's really worth people considering this. All right, so let's move on to the last question or two, maybe merge them. And this maybe we'll stop on this question and maybe a few words on how you see the future. You manage creative teams and you have a lot of experience in design leadership. How do you manage these teams? What are some of your challenges and what's exciting about it? And how do you see design leadership today in the region and from your own perspective? And then we'll move to questions.
Sure. So managing creative people and leading creative people, I think, is one of the hardest thing in the world. No book or no MBA can tell you how to lead creative people there is no right formula. I think there is no right or wrong answer. But creative people are energetic, are passionate, are eager to do things and create much larger impact than previous generations and so on. I think we are privileged in the region that we have such energy. We have people who are well educated who want to do things beyond themselves. I see this on a daily basis. When it goes inside the company, inside TAMX, for example, I'm privileged to have a unique team today. I call them superheroes because design is a superpower for me. And since we are in the problem-solving space, people who can solve problems, people who can envision, people who can articulate their thoughts, people who can make problems go away are superheroes, and they deserve to be treated like that. So it's our responsibility as design leaders to build a culture of trust, a culture that embraces diversity, a culture that embraces, I would say, the differences in the people and make them feel that they are not doing a job. People here, I think, hate the word just doing a typical job, a 9-to-5 job. My team spends weekends, they give away their personal time sometimes, but they enjoy it because they feel trust, they feel support, they feel empowered. So being a design leader, I think for me, is being vulnerable, is being authentic, is being a coach rather than just a manager. Because they're young, they need somebody who take their hands and coach them and tell them, not to tell them the right answer, but to give them the right direction and let them go and fail and experiment. Being a coach is very important. Being vulnerable is very important. Being a teacher, I think, is very important. When you do that, when you invest in building a culture of trust, embracing ambiguity, I always tell my team that we are in the business of problem solving and nobody knows the answer. So we're going to figure it out together. And that reduces the stress of I have to be perfect every time. We don't know all the answers. That's the beauty of what we do. We're going to figure it out together. I think building that trust is very important and embracing that ambiguity is very important.
And that you can come to me with a problem and not have the solution.
Exactly.
Come to me with a problem. You don't have to have the solution. We come to the solution together.
If you can identify the right problem, if you can go beyond the traditional way of thinking, and if you can actually prove that you can solve problems, then this is the value of becoming a designer. So I think something else as well is happening, that there is so much young leaders in the region today. People who just were giving a position, build an innovation team, start disrupting. Maybe they didn't have the right, I would say, background, but they have the right support, the right time, the right energy. So how can you invest into cultivating the best out of the best of the people who are working with you? I've seen wonders, I've seen surprises from my team, and I really see so much can be done when you trust your people.
Thank you very much, Turki. This has been really inspiring, and I learned so much every time we talk. I mean, we've only had 3 conversations, but in 3 hours, I've learned a lot. I have lots of notes and lots of ideas, and I hope everyone here too had an opportunity to learn something new. Do you have anything you'd like to end with? I mean, we have a final question on the future. I don't know, Luna, if you want to leave us with that question.
About the future. I'm a bit biased here, but I really believe that the MENA region is going to become the hub of innovation and design. With all of the facts that we just mentioned, with all of the support, the transformation, the eagerness, the energy, the passion that we see on a daily basis. Innovation and design in the Middle East is going to be taught in school, we're going to share more stories, it's going to become a hub. So my call to all service designers, to all innovation practitioners out there, give us a shot and come here and let's build it together. Yes. Thank you, Turki. Thank you, Luna. Do you have any questions? We have a few people here left from the group. You can put them in the chat, or you can raise your hand or unmute yourself. And if you don't have any questions, we can move on, and Luna can introduce you to the program and think of the questions, put them in the chat, and then we can come back to the questions. Give you some time to think and hand it over to Luna.
Thank you so much, both of you. And you know, even though we are localizing your speech to what's going on in the Middle East, I think because the pain or because the movements globally are so connected, it's impossible to not feel like whatever it is that you're saying doesn't resonate with me when I'm in Brazil, and things that I see in Brazil or things that I see here in the US. It's just amazing to see that there is a big global movement, even though, yes, we are much more powerful when we are looking in the smaller perspective and acting upon something that it's local and manageable for us. So I am highly
global
inspired.
Citizens, Luna, so I think we're all here to create impact and work together.
I hope so. I mean, I guess that's the ultimate hope. I really hope we're doing that. And I think, yes, again, I'm biased, just like the two of you, and probably bigots and many people who are joining us. We do see the value of design, not just in terms of the tool, like you said. Yes, we need to make something concrete, but in terms of the abstraction of it, how beautiful it is, the mindset, and how that can lead people. So, and it's inspiring to hear you guys. And about design leadership, well, again, this is a little bit of the structure of the course, how we divide the course in terms of something that is more inspirational. So that is the global master classes that happens every Mondays, and the local workshops, also for the sake of exactly what we're saying now, to contextualize to the local region, so people can relate better to what's going on in their own communities, and create a bigger or deeper bond between their peers, their colleagues. It starts on May 9th, so we still have some time to think about it, ask me questions, watch other fire sessions. There are more fire sessions coming with Hoda, but it's also other fire sessions with all our ambassadors throughout the globe, so quite insightful. Let me see what else do I have here. There's a good discount for people who wants to join the program. You can talk to me in case you have some questions and wants to feel more comfortable in making that decision. Again, my email is here, or it's easy to find me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty sure there's not many Luna Pigatas out there. Another thing that we can share with you is our first ebook. You can download for free, and I can also go ahead and give a little bit of spoiler, letting you guys know that in about a month, we are hoping to have a second edition coming up. And I am personally quite excited about this one because I am highly involved in receiving the answers from some of the people that we asked to answer a couple of questions for us. So stay tuned because there is a second edition coming up. And that's it for now. And yes, we can stay here for another couple of minutes in case you guys have questions. I would love to answer if there's any questions specifically for Hoda or Turkey.
Now, maybe even if you want to share your own perspective on any of the questions I asked Turkey or any of the ideas we discussed, or maybe your own perspective on some of the things we talked about.
Absolutely. And I guess it was for the first question really about what is the meaning of design. I think that a lot lately. And imagine that for a year now, basically, it's in 4 days, it will be a year that we are working specifically with design leadership. Imagine how many conversations I had with people from all kinds of backgrounds. And it always comes down to a very romantic conversation about what is design leadership. And it is impossible to talk about design strategy or anything that it's a little more sophisticated when you think about design and business without thinking about design in its essence. And even just breaking down, and I know Birgit likes to do that a lot, like looking about the etymology of the word and thinking about the word itself. Design, if you separate, it's design. So it's to create a new or decentralized design, whatever it is a design that we have in our minds, to make sure that we can separate, detach ourselves from it and see from multiple perspectives or different perspectives. So I believe if we start doing that more, because it's so easy to say, oh, this is a problem that I have in my region, or this is a problem that the innovation industry is facing, or this is how companies has always done, so we have to do that. And when we implement design in its core, we are constantly trying to dissociate ourselves from what we so far know or believe it's true, and search for more ideas, more solution, have the opportunity to be more creative and somehow even humble. Because I believe if I am doing something because I think that it's going to serve me without taking in consideration everybody else that it's going to be impacted, like I said earlier, it's about you and the systems. It is impossible that you will ever create anything that it's going to impact yourself alone. So thinking about the word of design as something, as a meaning much more than a mindset or a tool, it is very important for us to even spread the word of design or be able to use that without people fearing it. Like, oh my God, here they come with all these tools and I need to understand about Figma and Illustrator and la 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 la, that it scares everybody out. And when you think about it as a concept or maybe as a value, it's much more easy to be spread and implemented in other people's lives and everybody's lives.
I would add to that, Luna, make it simple, make it related, make it, I would say, biased towards action. So go ahead, experiment. Don't take permission to become a designer, I believe, to become a problem solver.
Exactly. There is a phrase, in design, we don't ask for permission. In worst case scenario, you say, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
There you go.
Excuse me.
Yeah. Is there any questions? If anyone wants to bring their own perspectives, why not? This is supposed to be a conversation. But if everybody wants to go home or anything.
Let me ask a question, Luna. So what are the misconceptions about design in the region and in the Middle East in particular, as people who, I think, when I get those international conversations and they speak about the transformation that is happening, people get really surprised. What do you think could be some of the initiatives that we can do to spread the word more and to showcase to the, I would say, European design or the Western designers community, what are we doing?
Oh, I actually
just to make
love that
my
question.
job easier. Yes.
Yeah. I think what you said about the hackathons, and I see that happening a lot in South America, and I would speak about Brazil.
Yeah.
Even though, yes, I understand that equipping people to use tools in a conscious way is very much important. Otherwise, the opportunity that design has now can be twisted and used in a way that we don't really want to get into. And I can see that maybe we are going there. I've been thinking a lot about that, like such as marketing. I know at some point it was so beautiful. The advertisement industry was so creative, and we twisted it to a point that, well, I didn't want to make part of. My background is in marketing, so I feel like I'm entitled to say whatever about it. So I'm scared about, just talking about or giving random tools without necessarily teaching the mindset behind. But I truly believe, and I think you agree really in a level, that it is important to let people experiment and use tools in a way that makes sense to them, even though we are doing hackathons without necessarily having time to, guide people through the mentality. In a way, it is important to just put everybody out there and be like, experiment, because design is almost a human characteristic, if you think about it, because we are supposed to be flexible.
Exactly.
I really believe so.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot that they're calling, I think, the hackathons and those events innovation theaters. And there is so much debate that innovation theaters doesn't really create impact. But for me, in our current status, we need to do more of those so we can spread the knowledge. We can make people convert into becoming a designer and believe and start their own journey. Problem solving and design takes time. It's more complicated. It doesn't get in 1 or 2 days, definitely. But we need to spread more, spread out the word and make people start their own design journey.
I think it's a communication tool, Turkey. It's a communication
definitely.
tool. It's a way to, it's almost, I'll make a comparison. It's an immersive experience for students to get a taste of something that they could, I love this. I want more. And if 20% of them decide to get more, then it's almost like a hook. But Rahaf has a question.
I just wanted to add on to your discussion about how important design is to our lives. I think my favorite part of design is that it incorporates people from different majors. Whenever I go to a hackathon or if I'm at an event, there are architects, engineers, people that have an IT background.
Music.
Yeah, so I think that's my favorite part about it. I got to meet so many people that I wouldn't have an opportunity to do so just in my normal university life.
Yes. It's experiential, it's immersive, it's fast-paced, it mimics real life. It's so important for people, young people, to get exposed to these kinds of experiences that just, I don't see it as that. I see it as very impactful as part of the holistic learning experience, because learning is not just what happens in the classroom. It needs to be part of the learning experience. I put a comment in the chat about learning experience design and how we have to, in order to build something, we have to bring it all down and build it from scratch, but at least to look at learning as an experience. And we don't have that much. We don't look at learning as an experience yet.
And you know what, thinking about it, yes, we're now maybe talking about this in the perspective of the student or the person that's actually taking the hackathon. But it's impossible not to think about whatever company that's actually facilitating that to happen, how much learning how they can get from simply listening to what young generations have to say, because they literally see the world in a complete different way, considering how fast technology is evolving. So it is a win-win situation no matter what. For
it's
the
also,
industry,
sorry, go ahead.
No, that's it.
I was saying it's an extended interview. The number of employers who have hired off those hackathons, it's an extended interview. They leave the hackathon and they say, I want him and her and him and her. Thank you very much. It's called an extended interview.
Nice.
But they don't tell you that. That's a trick for the students in the audience.
Definitely, I've seen it a lot. This is actually a place where you can identify superstars and top designers and people
showcase your skills.
Amazing, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, this has been so fun. Actually, I always have fun at these fire sessions.
I want to close up with something. Something that I really feel proud of is that designers think beyond themselves. I've always say this quote that our lives have been designed by people who came before us. So we have the responsibility to actually design the future. We have responsibility to fix things, even if it doesn't create that wow, I would say, or buzz or whatever, but invest into being an authentic problem solver, a designer for the future, a designer for a better quality of life. And then so many things is you're gonna live a wonderful life. I'm really, I can see it and I can recommend it for anyone who gets into innovation design. You're gonna have a wonderful ride. So it's been a pleasure, Luna, Huda. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for trusting us. Well, you and everyone that's here. Huda, thank you so much for helping and spreading the word. I think we are already doing that. So maybe this is one of the examples that we should give. Like, let's have more conversations and let people give their perspectives, because sometimes one phrase can change everybody's lives. You know, critical thinking is still a lot. Let's take advantage of it.
Thank you so much. And let's work together to create a better life and better future. Thank you so much.
Please, let's do that. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Luna. Thank you,
Thank
Turkey.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you guys. It was an honor meeting you.
Thank you so much for having. Bye-bye.
Bye.